Ooh, there we go. Oh, yeah. YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day, and we just finished up our sprint warm-up, so if we're out of breath, it's because of that, not because I took a walk up a stairs or something like that. We were working earlier today. We're supposed to have our fly tents today, but we had to switch up our schedule a little bit because it is rainy outside, which means soccer guys came inside, which means more money for the gym, which is a good thing, but we lose out on our long distance sprints here. So we got 20-yard dashes set up. So this was supposed to be our Thursday workout, which was 3 chain 20-yard dashes with 3 20-yard regular dashes. But we got about maybe 4 yards to slow down after a 20-yard dash. So probably gonna take them chill today, but we'll still get some work done, still adjust the workout, and set a baseline for the times so that next week when we get longer space to open up and chill, I can feel good about myself, and that's a part of training. Sometimes you need those ego wins, but we're gonna set the base today, get these sprints in, then we got some jumps, then we got a light day in the weight room where we got some snatches, some overhead work, and some Bulgarians, because I hate myself. So we're gonna rip those, and we're gonna get after it. Let's go. So like I mentioned in the warm-up, so we got 3 20-yard build-ups here with a 1-yard build-in, just because the sensors don't handle staying in the sensor very well, with a short stoppage. So our times are probably not gonna be amazing today because I'm gonna chicken shit out of stopping, but 3 with the chains, 3 without the chains, alternating, same as our 10 by 10 yard splits that we've been doing, where we did 5 10-yard sprints resisted, 5 10-yard sprints unresisted. Got really good results in the 10s there. Just expanding that. We might build this up to 40s and continue to expand it just to have fun with it, but this is more of our acceleration base day. That's supposed to be on Thursday of the program after a couple heavy days in the weight room. And I like that you have my max velo day a little bit earlier in the week, just when I'm a little bit fresher and a little bit more cooking. But we're adjusting, we're adapting. We'll hit our acceleration stuff today and our max velo work on Thursday, as long as we can get in without it being rainy out. So let's get after this, let's go. Oh, that was great. Device disconnected from that sprint. That one actually felt pretty good. Felt like I'm able to actually accelerate through without stopping. There's a 3.248 that just popped up. So maybe that might have been the 3.248 that we just ran. So I'll screenshot that in case that is a number to compete against as we go. That could also just be a totally random number from my warm up, but it did pop up after. So 3.248. Now we're gonna run a 20-yard dash unresisted here. And our PR there is a 2.634. Again, not really expecting that with our current setup, but if we get close, that's sick. There we go. Not a bad start. 2.735. Slowed down a little bit before the end of the sensors. I think I might have enough room to be able to actually coast through, as long as I'm not a coward and I'm not a super unathletic person eating crap after, but we can beat that today. Let's get it. 2 more rounds. All right, round 2 here. 3.2 is the record to beat on these, I believe, as long as that's what was actually recorded on that arena gate. Let's get it, let's go. Ooh, felt long there. I like it. There we go. 3.181. Little improvement. That one felt good. Let's open up on this 20 now. Damn. 2.735. Whoa. I tied it exactly. We are consistent. Not good, but consistent. 1 more round here. Let's get it. I think that's another cool little thing that you can do with a lot of these data points is, and just like variation in your training, is there's a difference between like inter-workout progress and intra-workout competition, if that makes sense. So like my inter-workout competition and progress that I'm looking for is in like my fly 10, my 10-yard start, my 20-yard starts, my 40-yard dash, all of those type of things, where they're like pretty consistent, they're pretty set in stones. And I can compete with those things on a global scale whenever I'm like testing out on those options. And they're a little bit more set in stone, a little bit more, you can compete with other people because they're more of a like accepted metric that people use. But with that, and speaking on the variability piece, you also have intra-workout competitions and intra-workout tracking that matters. And that's what I would consider today with a little bit of a janky setup, is we're not necessarily competing with our old numbers just because the setup's not the same. And I don't think these numbers really carry over to actually being able to sprint through the sensors and not being constrained and actually starting from the same spot every time. We measured this out, but I mean, you never know if it's just a little bit different. But the goal of measuring today is not inter-workout competition and progress and tracking those numbers. If we hit a PR that's sweet. But it's the ability to adapt your workout to the situation and environment that you have that day and still have competition that day. So if I only had 8 yards, I would do 8-yard dashes today and compete throughout the workout. So I drive intense on every rep throughout that workout, because that 8-yard dash, whatever I have space for that day, sometimes we only have the weight room to sprint in, which is about 8 yards. We can drive intent for the environment that we're set in, rather than being stuck in only being able to track, oh, it's not a 10-yard dash, I don't know how to compare it to my 10-yard dash number, right? Like, it's just a little bit of adaptability with your intra-workout competitions. Allows you to have high variety in your training with high intent and still compete throughout that day. Again, a 360 broad jump isn't something athletes or combines measure. So let's say you go 8 feet in a 360 broad jump. That number doesn't really mean anything long term, but all I care about it is meaning something that day and drawing intent into that exercise that day. And that's, I think, the difference between intra and inter workout competitions. And I think a lot of people get stuck in inter workout competitions, and if they can't do an inter workout competition, they lose a little bit of motivation in their workouts. But I think that's silly when you just turn it into an intra workout competition and you compete with yourself that day and get after it that day, which draws intent, which will inevitably increase your inter workout competitions and the KPIs that you set there, because you're giving intent on the days where you don't have your entire field, or you don't have your entire weight room, or you don't have the perfect bar. You're still getting high intent work done. So then when you do have those things, you can go retest and you didn't waste a day being unmotivated because there's nothing to train for, in quotations. So a little weird rant there, but let's hit our third set. Oh, 3-1-9-9. It's a little bit slower than the fastest one of the day, which was a 3-1-8-1. It felt a little bit slower too. Didn't feel like I had a great length. And that second one felt like I was really pushing through the ground. So let's get this third set here. Let's go. Ooh. 2-7-4-0. All three of them at 2-7. That's pretty good. Pretty good day. We'll open up next week when we get the full space. But those felt good. Happy we got our sprint work in. Let's get to some jumps and snatches. Now we got 3 sets of 3, our final set here of these seated broad jumps. Our record to beat is at 11.6. I was asked a question in a YouTube Q&A asking about this microdosed approach to sprinting and jumping, like what my weekly volume looks like. And pretty much all of my jumps, so I'll do a horizontal jump and a vertical jump pretty much every single day. And I'll vary the intensity based off how we're feeling that day. So if it's a day where we're feeling pretty good, we'll do a decently hard landing plyo or jump. Or where we're pushing it, and days where we're not feeling as great, it'll be a little bit lower intensity one, maybe a little bit higher variety, a little less pushing, maybe we're landing on a box. And for the volume on these, every single one is pretty much just 3 sets of 3. The first set is a warm-up set, just getting the motion, getting moving. We're still jumping, but it's like feeling it out. Second set, we're trying to set a tone and like give ourselves a baseline. Third set, we're really trying to push it. Fourth set, when I say 3 sets of 3, I usually turn you guys on the fourth set, and the fourth set's just an open set where we just send it. And that fourth set is open, and maybe it's 1 jump, maybe it's 6 jumps. It's just until I'm disinterested or I stop PRing or I'm feeling beat up from that. So that's typically the volume on that. Ends up being basically like 12-ish horizontal jumps, 12-ish vertical jumps on the day. Sometimes it's way more, sometimes it's a little bit less, which gives us like 120-ish jumps on the week. And again, those are at varying intensities. It's not 120 sends on the week. I'd probably say a third of that is sends, a third of that is variety, a third of that is actually working on something. Or maybe it's a weighted jump or something we're trying to build up. But I've felt really, really good with this approach. Haven't felt beat up. I don't feel like I'm spending too much time on my jumps, and I treat it as, again, as part of my warm-up for the lifts, and it makes me feel athletic when I go lift right after it. It's one of the best things to get my body feeling good for the day. So that's kind of how we set that up, that microdose approach up. We go every single day, 3 sets of 3 plus 1 open set. First set's a warm-up set, second set sets the tone, third set we're pushing it, fourth set we're opening up and really trying for that PR and trying to get after something. So let's get these jumps, let's go. Ooh! Right at 11.4, our PR is 11.6. I think we got that in us today. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to give myself 12 feet yet because I didn't stick it, but that was right at 11.11. I think I did break 12, but we're going to hit it again. Oh, 11.7-ish. Damn. That one I hit the ground pretty hard. 1 to 2 more here. Ooh. Right at 11.10. Feeling like I'm a little bit too horizontal. I'm missing the thing that Blaine talks about. I had that on that long one where it's almost like you just need a little bit of vertical and projection with that horizontal projection. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck to the ground and you feel like you're dragging instead of floating. So we're going to try and hit that in this last one. Let's see if we can get 12 feet legit. 12 feet legit with the stick. Let's go. Oh! Come on, dude. Do one more. This is why it's an open set. Pissing me off. Get this freaking thing. Come on, one more. Let's go. Oh, nope. Right at it every time. We had one big one, and then everything else beat the old PR, which I know I only hit one time, and it was a pretty big PR when I did it. It was like everything before was like 11 feet, 11 feet, 11 feet, then I went 11.6 and called it that day. Everything today, I had one at 11.4, and then everything was above an 11.6, and then we sent one for the 11.11. It was probably 12 feet, but we'll give ourselves something to break and beat coming up here in the future. But those felt really good. Let's get to some super cat jumps. All right, now we got these super cat jumps, same thing as last week. Shout out Dana. If you watch the JST Day in the Life videos every Saturday, we found out Dana was an electrical engineer, and we were trying to have everybody figure out the jump mat except our electrical engineer on staff at JST. So she fixed this thing up for us. It looks like it's working way better than it was working before. We got 3 jumps here. Remember, measuring only the 3rd jump. First 2 give intent, 3rd one get after it. 10 pounds on here. We'll do this every 2 weeks. We'll add 5 pounds every week for a little bit and just keep these ripping. Just draw some intent to these super cat jumps and build these up so we can stop sucking at the vertical jump. Let's go. Ooh! 18.5. Good shit. Let's go. Last week our record was 17.9. Now we got 4 sets of 2 at 175 on the bar here. Goal today is to get, K-Dot just released a video talking about squeezing the glutes and getting fully extended instead of leaning back and trying to create that extension that way. So we're really gonna try and stay vertical on these. We're going every minute on the minute here, ripping through. Let's get it. Ooh. I got the feel on the first one. Second one was a little sloppy. Ooh, I like the feel of those. It's nice. A little goofy, but we're working on things. I just rewatched that set, and that look is exactly what I'm going for. I'm not leaning back at all. That's a really good feel. So I'm thinking squeeze the glutes, and then his other cue in the same video was drop underneath it as soon as it gets to the belly button. And those 2 things, I'm just delaying that squeeze for as long as possible. Obviously can't do that with a lot of heavy weight, but I'm just trying to really emphasize that feel, but squeeze the glutes till I get here and then just focus on snapping underneath the bar. It was a really cool feel and it looked really nice. So let's get this 3rd set. Oh yeah. Woo! Those cues are fire. Really like the way those make that snatch look. I'm gonna try and do it now a little bit more rhythmic, a little less feel based, and make it a little bit more natural. Right there, I was like really squeezing, really overemphasizing, and then kind of forcing the ball underneath. I'm gonna see if I can get it to feel weightless here with that squeeze and delayed pull without leaning back. Let's go. Ooh, that might have been it. Oh yeah, that's sick. Let's get some jerks. And we got 4 sets of 2 on these split jerks here. Keeping it poppy. Let's get it. Ooh. Ooh. Second set here, kind of got a rush here, so we're doing every minute on the minute. We got a podcast with Joe Padula, the one and only, coming up here in 30 minutes, so kind of have to rush home for that. I forgot to mention this when I was doing the chain sprints, but I got asked the question, would I prefer more a sled or chains when it comes to sprinting, and why? And personally, I like the chains. I just think they drag on the ground a little bit better. I think there's so many kind of just crappy sleds, and it really depends on the turf and the ground that you have, sled setup that you have. If you have a good sled with a good surface, it's really nice. But I've just been in so many spots where the sled sticks into the ground, the sled doesn't stay on the ground, it's not built very well, and I just prefer how the chains just slide on the ground. Obviously, the adjustability of the sled is a benefit over the chains. It's a little bit easier to just throw weight on and off the sled and a little bit more adjustable, and you don't have to weigh out your chains or worry about that. So that part the sled definitely takes the cake on. I just think for my setup and the space that I have, that the chains work a little bit better on the turf and are a little bit more adaptable for the turf. And if I ever want to add weights, I just add a little bit more chains to the sled sprints. And that's just for sprints. Obviously doing like heavy marches, you're going to have to do a sled, and adding a lot of weight if you're trying to do even like heavy sled walks with it, that's going to be much better with a sled than it is a chain. But for my personal space, I do enjoy the chains and how they glide on the ground. I think it's a little bit more adaptable. You have to be a little bit less picky with it. The only negative you have is you can't intermix the weights and change the weights per set as easily, and you're not sure how much weight is on each rep when you're sprinting, because each chain is like 24.2 pounds and each of them are just a little bit different, so it's not as precise in that sense. So if you have a good sled and a good surface, there's really not going to be a massive difference there other than the adjustability of sled. I just think the chains slide a little bit better for me. The sled on this turf sucks. It cuts the turf and it catches in the turf and doesn't glide on it, so that's kind of annoying, and that's why we switched the sleds. But let's get our second set here. Let's go. Let's go. All right, third set here, added 30 pounds to each side. I think we're at, well, 185 plus 30, 215 here. Let's keep building. Let's go. There we go. Fourth and final set here, then we got some Bulgarians and behind the neck presses. I'll show the sets of Bulgarians just because those are brutal, and it'll hold me accountable to be doing my Bulgarians, and I'll show the last set of the behind the neck presses. We're gonna have to superset those just because we are running behind time here a little bit. Let's go. Let's go. Shoulders stiff as fuck in those jerks, man. God dang. All right, now we got 3 sets of 5, 3 sets of 8 Bulgarians here. We're starting pretty light. 1, because I'm soft, and 2, because we are building these up in the program throughout all these weeks, and I haven't done unilateral squats pattern in a while, something I need to build up, and in the warm-up sets, my cheeks feeling like they were already gonna get torn apart. So, gonna start light, build from there. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Let's go. That's a good warm-up weight. 2 more sets here. All right, second set here. Added a little bit of weight. Legs are gonna hate me tomorrow. The first time you do Bulgarians, man, in a while, there's no mercy. Every other exercise you pick up pretty quick. But Bulgarians, first time you start doing those again, my goodness, bro. Be fun to build them up. Let's go. Holy shit. 8, oh my God, bro. Fucking A. It's so light on the back and so heavy right in the butt cheeks. Woo. 1 more set. Third and final sets. I was gonna go up in weights, but then I hit my shoulder presses and started walking around, and my glutes were squeezing on me. So I'm gonna finish up here so tomorrow's cleans aren't completely ruined by today's Bulgarians. Let's go. Ooh, come on, Demi. Ooh, let's go. Ooh. Ooh, come on. Oh yeah. Oh my God, twice. The hammy's cramped. My goodness. That was gonna be nice to build up. Let's finish our last set of behind the neck presses and get to this Padula pod. Our third and final set. Oh my God, I'm limping like a lurd. Third and final set of the behind the neck presses here. Building these up. This shoulder mobility needs to increase because these are challenging me. In between sets, I went to go type in my numbers from the jumps today, and I saw my old seated broad was actually only an 11.3. So that 11.11 today was an actual big PR, and we didn't have a jump under our old PR, so that's pretty dope. It's even more of a win than I thought. I thought our old PR was 11.6, so that's pretty sweet. Things are working. Let's get this last set. Oh yeah, Holy shit. Oh, we're gonna be sore tomorrow from those two Bulgarians and shoulder presses. We're gonna get after it. Appreciate you guys watching. Keep chopping wood.